Welcome back to the Info Day on the 2024 calls under the Research Infrastructures part of Horizon Europe. We will now address 4 topics under the destination of next generation scientific instrumentation, tools and methods, and also advanced digital solutions for research infrastructures. We will hear about instrumentation, tools and methods for upgrading research infrastructures, tools that enable the research and innovation on social aspects of the green transition, but also on the advanced digital solution side, new digital twins for destination Earth and AR, VR empowered digital twins for modeling complex phenomena. So let's start with the first topic, which is about the next generation of scientific instrumentation, tools and methods for the upgrade of research infrastructures. And to present that for you, I have with me my colleague René Martins, who will tell you all about the expected outcomes and the scope of this topic. René, the floor is yours.
Yeah, thank you, Michael. So we move now to INFRATECH 0101, which is research and innovation action with a budget of 63.5 million, with which we expect to fund about 8 projects, so each project between 5 and 10 million. There, the call opening is on 6 December this year with the deadline 12 March next year. There are some conditions regarding the consortia. So they must include at least 3 different research infrastructures, being either an S3 research infrastructure or an ERIC, or a research infrastructure, as it's written there, being an intergovernmental organization of European interest. So just to explain to you what counts as that, it is a research infrastructure with a legal entity that is an international European research organization as defined under Horizon Europe, or that was validated as international organization of European interest as defined under Horizon 2020 or Digital Europe. So this would be eligible for this call. There will be, I think, also frequently an FAQ on the website regarding this point. Next slide, please. So the expected outcomes are similar to the 2022 call, but there are some additions, for instance, that we expect enhanced research infrastructure capacities to address research challenges and EU policy priorities. So, I mean, priorities such as building a climate neutral, green and fair and social Europe, for instance. Then there another aspect is the increased collaboration of research infrastructures with universities, research organizations in industry. And also you will note this mentioning of promotion of entrepreneurial culture, which is also a new item here to reinforce this aspect of being closer to the industry part and also making things ready for the market in some areas, or to come closer to prototyping and things like that. Next slide, please. So the scope is to deliver innovative scientific instrumentation tools, method and solutions to advance state-of-the-art research infrastructures in the EU and associated countries, and to show transformative potential in research infrastructure operation. We want to underpin the provision of new and improved advanced services, so including also industrial users to create, actually to attract new users to research infrastructures, or to support new areas of research. We need to develop cutting-edge technologies which will enhance the potential of research infrastructures to help address EU policies, objectives and socio-economic challenges. And what you need to pay attention to is what I mentioned, the INFRATECH Call 2022. It needs to target what you propose here. It needs to target different instrumentation tools and methods and solutions as compared to that one. There were 14 projects funded under this previous topic, and you can find there these 14 projects when you type this topic code in Cordis, and then you get the list of the 14 projects. So look carefully at what has been already funded. Then we have this point about the consortium, and which was already mentioned, and you need to include, you can include the PCP subcontracting activities. Next slide, please. So you should address following aspects as relevant. So you don't need to address everything, but as relevant. So the research and development of new scientific instrumentation tools and methods for research infrastructure, taking into account resource efficiency. We come back here to, again, the environmental impact. So, for instance, energy consumption and environmental impact, including climate-related ones. You can also include the development of new, more sustainable and efficient methods of collecting data and proprietary access, including remote and digital, as well as digitalization of instrumentation services and results. You have, of course, the technology validation, prototyping, training of RI staff for operation, and when relevant, developing skills on technical validation to industrial standards. This is also something which was not in the previous call for 2022. And then to cover the innovative potential for industrial exploitation of the solutions for the benefits of society, and also facilitating proof of concept for use by SMEs. Thank you.
Many thanks, René, and also for explaining how this builds on from the similar topic that we had in the 22 call for proposals. Let's now turn to the next topic, which is about enabling research on the social aspects of the green transition. And for that, I give the floor to Patricia Postigo to give you more details about scope and expected outcomes of this topic. Patricia?
Hello again. This is a call topic, indeed, as Michael said, for services on the social aspects of the green transition. The idea is to fund one single grant for a total of approximately 5 million. Can we go to the next slide, please? Thank you. So what are the expected outcomes? The outcomes are indeed to create a capacity for researchers to work on the social side of the new policies that need to be developed to support the green transition, which is, as you know, a priority of the European Union. And in creating these new services, we are supporting other big science policy at EU level initiatives, the missions and the partnerships that are all aligned with the green objectives. So we want to create harmonized data sets that are accessible to scientists across the EU and beyond, and that are complemented by tools for modeling analysis that facilitate the use of this data to support policy development. And we want to strengthen the collaboration across scientists in the social sciences domain and others, and non-scientific stakeholders who would need access to this data to improve the design of their work. Next slide, please. So what type of project would deliver the scope that we want? So basically, this is a call targeted to the social sciences and humanities research infrastructure communities, or in S3 jargon, social, cultural, and innovation communities. So this is a project that would deliver modules or questionnaires and tools to use the data collected by this model to support study and work on the social aspects of the green transition. And these modules might include a range of areas that are relevant for the green transition, and that's transport, poverty and climate change, green jobs, skills, gender and equality aspects, or other aspects that are relevant for a fair transition towards climate neutrality. And the proposals should link their work, their questionnaires, their modules, their analytical tools to the data collection exercises of existing European surveys, pooling the knowledge and the networks that are already in existence. Is there a next slide? Yes. So this project should address the module, the validation, the prototyping and the deployment of the data, a sustainability plan for how these modules are going to collect data in the future, how they're going to be mainstream in the existing research infrastructures. They should describe their potential for being useful to a broad stakeholder base. And the proposal should include at least 2 S3 ERIC infrastructures, or also an international organization of European interest, which is the type of legal entity that my colleague Renee has already described for the previous topic. And this is a call that targets a very specific community, and we're hoping that the existing S3 projects in the social sciences are already mobilizing a network of partners in this field. This is all from me.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Patricia. Clear. Let's now move to the 2 topics that cover advanced digital solutions for research infrastructures. The first one concerns new digital twins for Destination Earth, and the other one, as I already mentioned, AR/VR empowered digital twins for modeling complex phenomena. So to present that for all of you, I have with me my colleague Jakub Drabowski, who will give you the details of scope and expected outcomes of these 2 topics. Jakub, the floor is yours.
Thank you very much. So to start with new digital twins for Destination Earth, this is the research and innovation action with the budget of 45 million euros. So we are aiming at around 3 projects, 15 million euros each. When it comes to the conditions, one important is that to provide royalty-free access to the intellectual property rights, which are needed for further developing, implementation and monitoring of the Destination Earth initiative. This IPRs should be granted to the entrusted entities which are in charge of the implementation of the Destination Earth. For the timing, the call opens early in December, and the deadline for the submission is the 12th of March 2024. And can I have a next slide, please? Thank you. A little bit of the context. So the Destination Earth aims to develop a high-precision digital model of the Earth to model, monitor, and simulate natural phenomena and related human activities. As a part of the build-up of Destination Earth, continuous preparatory scientific and technical developments need to be carried out to ensure integration of new digital twins. Also, it is important to cover new areas and integrate into the Destination Earth digital twin framework. The expected outcomes are the following: the emergence of new science-based digital twin infrastructures, which can be gradually integrated into the Destination Earth, the establishment of new digital standards for software and data for Destination Earth, as well as standards and science-based approach for modeling, predicting, and assessing the Earth systems and their socioeconomic impact. Can I have a next slide, please? When it comes to scope, it is important that all of these aspects are addressed. And we are looking at the development of additional and or improved advanced very high resolution complex Earth system model components representing, for example, atmosphere, ocean, land surface, hydrology, cryosphere, or biosphere in the Earth system simulation framework of Destination Earth. Also collecting advanced Earth observation data from satellites, established airborne and ground-based observatories, as well as novel technologies, for example, drones or IoT sensors, linked for use in the data fusion framework of Destination Earth for simulation and observation. Also, ensuring appropriate representation of uncertainty to produce reliable estimates of both monitored and predicted states of the new components, as well as development of scientific components of impact models associated with the new topical components for the management of user-specific applications in areas such as renewable energy, food, water, and health. And last but not least, the development of software and data handling infrastructure that use and enhance the extreme scale computing and data handling infrastructure of digital twin engine of destination Earth. Support and enhance both the workflow management established by the existing digital twin engine and its operation through the Destiny Core Service Platform, and data handling established by the existing digital twin engine and its operation through the Destiny Data Lake. Can I have a next slide, please? Yes, this is already a new topic which covers AR, VR empowered digital twins for modeling complex phenomena in new research infrastructure application areas. Again, a research and innovation action with an estimated budget of 24 million euros. We are aiming at 2 projects, 12 million euro each. And similarly, for the conditions, it is important to grant royalty-free access to IPRs which are needed for the further development of the implementation and monitoring of the Destination Earth initiative. The timing is the same in this case. For the context, the aim of this topic is to deliver digital twin solutions which advance the state-of-art European arrays and show transformative potential in their operations. The solution should pave way for new ways to conduct experiment by the research infrastructures through AR, but also by mixed reality technologies. The focus is on newer application areas such as healthcare, safety, and security to understand complex real-world systems, particularly in application areas constrained by specific physical limitations. The expected outcomes are the availability of advanced modeling and prediction capabilities aimed at industrial, scientific, or policy end users on fundamental, complex, and socioeconomically relevant real-life phenomena, including consideration of the possibility to replace, where appropriate, the need for physical experiments and interventions by using digital twins. Enhanced competitiveness and improved effectiveness of European research infrastructures, and better integration of research infrastructures into local, regional, and global innovation and decision support systems. Can I have a next slide, please? For the scope, again, all of these points need to be addressed, and we are looking at the development of digital twin solutions for research infrastructures that take advantage of AR, VR technologies for interactive visualizations and bring together the available relevant data resources in the specific topical area. Include technology validation and prototyping activities to cope with a large and representative application area to test the relevance of the solutions with the needs of relevant industrial, scientific, or policy end users. And finally, prepare for take-up of the developed solutions by clearly identified and involved industrial, scientific, or policy end users, and include relevant training for the operation and use of these new solutions. And that's it. Thank you very much from my side.
Many thanks, Jakob. Very clear. And with that, let's move into the question and answer session. We already have quite a number of questions posted via Slido. So let me start with the first one, which will be for you, René. Under the topic that you presented, does an ICT facility, so for instance a computer center, qualify as a targeted research infrastructure for this topic?
Shall I answer this question?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. Sorry. Yes, this would they are as such. It depends if you're talking here about the eligibility criterion, or if your question refers to the call in general. To the topic in general, it's a yes, so it can participate, but I doubt it will qualify as under the eligibility criterion for the 3 to being an intergovernmental organization, ERIC or S3. If it's one of them, then no problem. But you of course have also partners which are not falling under the eligibility criterion for the 3, which you need to have at least. I hope that was clear. So in principle, yes.
Thank you, René. A bit related to that, also about eligibility and expectations for targeted research infrastructures. There's another question. Research infrastructure projects that are not yet European Research Infrastructure Consortia, are such projects eligible?
I can also answer that one. So they are not eligible when by the time of the call closure, they are not yet an ERIC. So they need to be established as an ERIC by that time.
Right. Again, this is for you, René. There is in the call a reference to another research infrastructure that is an intergovernmental organization.
Yeah.
So if you are part of an IEA technology collaboration platform, would that fit?
The IEA technology collaboration platform, I must admit, I don't know this platform. So that would need to be checked in detail. But when it fulfills, when, for instance, it is falls under the categories mentioned earlier regarding Horizon Europe or the Horizon 2020. So if it is an international European research organization, or it was validated as international organization of European interest, like for instance under Digital Europe, then it would qualify.
Very good. And we promise we'll get back to the specific part of the question and also make sure that the reply is disseminated. Related again, René, please stay on the screen. Can you give an example of a research infrastructure of European interest that is neither an ESFRI landmark nor an ERIC?
Well, there are several of them. They are all in the IRO forum, where you have, for instance, EMBL or CERN and so on. So there are many examples.
Very good. Thank you, René. Then a bit of a different question, which is about the involvement of industry still in this topic. So as we say in the topic description, we could expect industrial participation, of course, in this topic. What kind of such industrial participation, be they as beneficiaries, subcontractors, associated partners, would be expected?
Well, as it can be in principle any of the above, like suggested in the question, but subcontracting should be rather limited. Beneficiaries, when it makes sense, then I mean it can be perfectly possible, yeah. And also the other options. So it's really depending. It's a case by case question. Yeah, there's no general approach. But if you want to underline, I mean, you can underline the collaboration with industry. And then it makes sense to include an industrial partner for co-development of technologies.
Yes, absolutely. Thank you, René. One question around the topic of AR, VR empowered digital twins, which also makes a reference to Destination Earth, although also other areas are mentioned. Does that mean that only high-quality projects with links to Destination Earth can be funded? This is a question for you, Jakob.
Thank you. Yes, indeed, the scope is a little bit broader here. And what is crucial is that the link to the Destination Earth is maintained and the point on the IPR is retained so that royalty-free access to the IPR right can be granted to the implementing entities afterwards. So I would say, yes, that topic is a little bit broader and the link to Destination Earth is here crucial when it comes to defining the scope and the topic.
Thank you, Jakob. Very clear. A question, I think, back to you, René, because we talk about the possibility to include pre-commercial procurement, subcontracting activities in proposals. Should this be considered a possibility or more like a very strong recommendation, almost a requirement?
It is definitely not a very strong recommendation. It is as the proposers wish to do. It's really an option.
So not an eligibility requirement, not even, well, a strong recommendation, but indeed a possibility. One more question, again for you, René. The new services, are they expected to be provided during the lifetime of the project, of the action under INFRATECH?
No, they are not expected to be available. So that is, for instance, different to InfraServe calls, where they develop new technologies for the services. There they need to be available, but for the INFRATECH here, it is not necessary.
Very good. Yes, indeed, a good reference also to those possible beneficiaries of the other destination we have in this part of the work program. I'm running out of questions here on the screen. I don't know if on the Slido there are more questions that you would like to have answered. Looking at the technical team behind the screens. So far, not. I'll just pause for another 10 seconds to see. Right, there is one more question. Very good. So again for you, René, should a business plan be proposed for sustaining the services?
Well, now here you're talking about services. So here we are talking, well, the topic is about technologies. So it's not quite clear for me what needs to be sustained here, because we are not talking about services. No? We are talking about something which should allow new services. But if you think this makes your case stronger, then of course you can include such a thing, but I think it's not a requirement.
Thank you, René. Clear. This is mainly about technologies. You can propose such a plan, and it could strengthen the proposal. Concerning eligibility under the TEC 0101 call, could omics research infrastructure facilities be eligible? So, for instance, metabolomic, proteomics, genomics.
Well, I mean, now you're talking about the eligibility. The eligibility is here about this criterion again, S3 ERIC International. As long as these facilities fulfill these, they are eligible. They add to the eligibility criterion. But if they are not, they still can participate in the consortium, provided that there are at least 3 other partners who fulfill the eligibility criterion. So I don't know any facilities now, examples where I would be able to give you a direct example here from metabolomic research infrastructure facility, if it's an international one or ERIC or ESRI. But just to make it clear, you need to have at least 3 which fulfill the criterion, and then you can have others which don't fulfill this criterion in the consortium.
Very clear. So strict eligibility criteria for the core, but then openness for the rest. René, you referred a lot to complementarity with the projects that we funded under the previous 2022 call. Could you give an example of complementarity with respect to these actions that we are already funding?
Well, when you look, as I said, in Cordis with this topic code, you will find a list of 14 projects. There are several ones which are, for instance, on marine infrastructures, others on I printed out the list before as a preparation for this, so a bit noise here. You have other on you have a lot of on environmental infrastructures. You have telecommunications, but I think it's really necessary for proposers to look into the at least the keywords for these and to visit maybe their website to see what they are doing to really ensure that you are not overlapping too much with what they are doing. Because I'm sure the evaluators, they will be briefed with respect to these funded projects so that they can make this evaluation if it's complementary or not.
Yes, indeed. We will make sure, of course, that the expert evaluators that we will use for evaluation are up to date with what is already ongoing, so that they will look at complementarity as a positive mark during the evaluation. One more question, which is the use of the term technologies, which of course is very broad. So can you define a bit more precise what is meant by this term technologies?
Well, it is not only technologies as it is also about methods and solutions. So it's the topic is really broad. Huh? So, for instance, solutions can be also not necessarily a technological solution. So, rather than defining technology, I'd rather refer to the broader scope of the entire topic. Say basically anything which can bring forward or improve research infrastructure's capacities and provide better services and enlarge the user base.
Thank you, René. Yes, indeed, we are not restrictive. It's not only the term technology which is broad, but goes beyond that, tools and solutions. One more question. So it's not required to collaborate with previously funded projects. We just need to check that there is no overlap, right? Yes, indeed. I think René, to a large extent, already replied to that. It's important that we see in the evaluation that proposers are aware of what has been going on in the past, what is currently ongoing, so that it is indeed complementary to these activities. It could be some overlap, but that a proposer has taken the effort to ensure that there is as little overlap as possible and as much complementarity in order to advance further is very important for us, and we will make sure it's also important for the expert evaluators. Let's see if there are more questions on Slido. Yes, so again, I think it's a confirmation question. So technologies means that any solutions could be proposed that fill the gaps identified by research infrastructures. I would say yes. René?
Yes, indeed, solution, yeah.
Yeah. Very good. Any other questions? Still have a couple of minutes if you would like to pose any last question. Right, so technologies should allow the development of services for user communities. Right, so if so, should proposals suggest models for the provision of these services? Again, back to this distinction between technologies and services, René?
I need to technology should allow the Well,
I think to some extent it's similar to a previous question on services, where you said the focus is really on the technologies.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, because what was I stumbling over was the second part of this, or this second question, which seems to go towards provision of services, but we are really more on the technology and upgrade part, which will then afterwards allow to provide better services. So the services is not the main focus. It's only second. Like, for instance, this question which came, do these technologies need to be available during the duration of the project? The answer was no, because it's only later on that services can then build on these new technologies.
Very good. I think we are now running out of time. So with that, let me close this session. Let's have a break for lunch, and we will then restart at 1 o'clock. So I wish you a nice lunch break. Bon appétit, and I'll see you back at 1 o'clock. Thank you.